But you and your husband, like a lot of couples, decided that it was better to be lived, your life's better lived apart than together.
Yes.
How did you know that it was time?
That's a really good question.
To take that route?
I knew when I really started to focus on my happiness. I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay, meaning our children. Meaning, you know, our children, our friends, our, you know, family. But at the end of the day, it's about self-love. And when you start to really work on yourself, love yourself, know your value, know your worth, and then all of a sudden there's this awakening. Wow. And it's not easy. It's a hard journey. But at the end of the day, I feel like it is so, so worth it. So, you know, this perspective, in my opinion, and just changing the narrative. You know, my marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Corey some beautiful, amazing children. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation, there's a celebration. So that's basically, you know, how I'm looking at it now. And I feel like people look at, when they look at marriage, that success equals longevity. But no, at the end of the day, it's, are they happy? Are they thriving? Are they growing? And I feel like that is what is most important. It's not about staying in something because however long you are in that situation, that equals success. It's about really, again, are you happy? Because life is really short.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is Melissa Rochelle and I'm a holistic wellness and relationship coach. So let's talk about this clip of Tia Mowry. And when she's talking about her divorce and she says that she evolved out of her relationship and that it was a sort of a graduation from her relationship. So a lot of people have been kind of up in arms. It's a little extra to say up in arms, but a lot of people have been really upset about her saying that her divorce was a graduation because they feel like it minimizes the importance and the sacredness of marriage. So what I'm going to do in this video is that I'm going to talk a lot about a book called Stronger Than You Think. Can you see that? Stronger Than You Think. And it's a really great book and it's highly researched. So it's very helpful for people who are already in relationships or for people that want to be married. It gives you practical steps you can take to make sure that your relationship is as fulfilling, happy, and healthy as possible. So let's talk about some of the tools that we can find in this book, Stronger Than You Think, that helps us to feel unstuck when we feel like we are not evolving in our relationship any longer. So one of the things that the book lists are the top 20 most valued personality attributes in a potential marriage partner. And it says that we should focus on traits that you have in common with your partner. Why? Because we like people who are like us. So this creates a stronger bond. Research also shows, though, that as the relationship progresses, what we have in common with our partner matters less. What starts to matter more is how similar our partner is to our ideal self. And our ideal self is the person you want to become. So what this means is that we want our partners to have traits that we want to have in the future. And we value partners who are similar to the person we want to become. So if our relationship holds us back or encourages us to add negative qualities, we're more likely to cheat. When our relationship encourages us to develop good qualities and shed the bad ones, the relationship becomes stronger and more filled with love. So we hear this all the time, but I'm going to say it anyways. Trying to change your partner just does not work. Just believing your partner needs to change hurts the relationship. What mostly helps relationships is focusing on our own self-improvement, because the strategies we use to try and get our partners to change usually just aren't very kind. So what do I mean by not very kind? What do we do when we want our partner to change? We yell, we curse, we show frustration, we show anger, and sometimes we put our partner down by ridiculing them, belittling, criticizing, insulting, teasing them, and making them feel guilty. And this is the thing, we're more likely to use guilt and be critical of our partner when we're feeling insecure about our relationship or bad about ourselves. So this is why it is crucial to focus on self-improvement before trying to force your partner to change. So here's the interesting thing. Your partner's resistance to change might be a good thing. Why? Because people who are less willing to change have higher self-esteem and aren't willing to change their behavior just to fit in. So in other words, they don't require a lot of reassurance and attention to feel comfortable and secure in the relationship. Relationships with these self-assured partners are more satisfying, are more committed, and have less cheating. These partners are sure of what they believe and who they are. Although that makes them less likely to change who they are as a person by taking on qualities from other people, it does help the relationship. So when people are clear and confident about who they are, they report higher satisfaction and commitment in their relationships. These kinds of people engage in more helpful behaviors like listening or helping their partner consider problems from a new perspective. So here are 4 key points about having a solid self-concept, a solid identity of who you are. So see how many of these you agree with. So check out these statements and see how many of them you agree with, so you can see how solid your sense of self-concept actually is. Number 1, my opinions about myself rarely conflict. Number 2, I know myself and I am clear about the type of person I am. Number 3, my thoughts about myself are consistent and don't change often. And number 4, I find it easy to describe my beliefs, personality, and preferences. So here's the question. Do you want a partner who agrees with those statements or disagrees with them? So here they are again. So check and see if you want to have a partner who agrees with these statements. And if you want a partner who agrees with the statements, that means that you want a partner who has a solid self-concept, a solid identity of who they are. So here are the 4 statements again. My opinions about myself rarely conflict. I know myself and I am clear about the type of person I am. My thoughts about myself are consistent and don't change often. I find it easy to describe my feelings, my beliefs, personality, and preferences. So if you want a partner who agrees with those statements and has a solid identity, can you see why you are unlikely to change them? If you want a partner with high self-esteem, why do you want to change them? So findings from more than 150 studies confirm that our personality structure is mostly stable and becomes more ingrained over time. So if you're hoping your partner becomes more outgoing, more thoughtful, less emotional, or less neurotic, not only is that unlikely to happen, but it becomes less likely with each passing year. It's true that we shouldn't try and change our partner, but when our partner doesn't measure up to our expectations, we can feel stuck. But instead of trying to change our partner, it's even more helpful to do an inventory of our circle. Asking our partners to fill every expectation and every need we have is unrealistic, and no one can live up to these impossibly high standards. So as the book says, instead of trying to change your partner to meet all of your needs and expectations, diversify your relationship portfolio. Allow other relationships like friends, family, coworkers, etc. to help meet some of your needs as well. But remember, even though we should accept our partners for who they are unconditionally with no strings attached, the fact is that most people aren't happy staying the same and not growing. Most people, including our partners, want to grow for their own benefit. Research has found that we fail to support our partner's desire to improve when we are unclear and confused about who we are. If we don't know ourselves well, we feel threatened by our partner changing. When we are supportive of our partner's growth, it improves ourselves and our relationship as well. And remember, being supportive of our partner's growth is not about just staying out of the way. It's about, number 1, realizing that what our partner chooses to change or improve about themselves is 100% their decision and has nothing to do with what we want them to change. This book words it beautifully and says that our role in our partner's growth process is that of a sculptor. Sculptors don't build and create things. They help reveal the existing art encased in stone. Michelangelo described his David sculpture like this: I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. So In plain words, what does it mean to be your partner's sculptor? It means that all of your partner's strengths are already in them. But a lot of times we have a lot of strengths that we just don't recognize, and we remain unconscious to them, and they're repressed or we suppress them. So being our partner's sculptor means that we encourage and support our partner to identify their strengths so that they can get closer and closer to becoming their ideal self. Researchers call this the Michelangelo phenomenon. It starts with our partner identifying their ideal self. This is the person she or he aspires to become. Then we encourage and support our partner through their journey of getting closer and closer to their ideal self. So here are some examples of how you can do this. So if your partner wants to be more adventurous, you can point out that there's a hiking group in your city. If your partner wants to be more outgoing, you can attend more social events with them. If your partner wants to be more organized, you can offer praise when they clean up or declutter their space. Affirming your partner's ideal self improves their life satisfaction and psychological health, and also improves commitment and trust in your relationship. The longer you are in a relationship, having your partner validate your ideal self is increasingly critical. So support and encourage your partner on their life's journey of becoming their ideal self. And you can even take an even more powerful strategy to improve your relationship, which is turning your attention inward and focusing on your own self-improvement. So it's important for partners to get on the same page about their self-improvement plans. A study done in 2017 confirmed that when partners' changes are aligned, meaning both partners want to stay the same or both partners want to change, the relationship is better, more stable, and leads to more personal growth. Partners are less satisfied in their relationships when they don't plan on changing themselves, but expect their partner to change. To become more aligned, focus on a common goal. Instead of focusing on each other's individual changes, join forces to create a relationship goal. And this is where you can use this exercise called the life vision exercise. And it's pretty straightforward, but it's a powerful tool to use in your relationship. So what you basically do is each partner individually writes their own life vision statement, and you want it to be very detailed. All the goals that you have, where you want to live, how many kids you want to have, what you want your house to look like, inside, outside, things you want to do for hobbies. And each individual partner creates their own life vision plan. After each partner individually creates their own plan, you then come together and create a couple's life vision plan by merging both of your individual life visions. This is really powerful because you're going to use this combined life vision to encourage and support each other through your growth process. And it can be incredibly empowering. So here's something to remember. We expect others to change when we feel superior to our partner. And so here's an example of that. So an employee doesn't really go into their boss's office and demands the boss to change, right? But a boss can pretty much demand an employee to change or improve. So we usually expect our partner to change when we feel superior to our partner in some way. And that's not really too good for a relationship. Relationships are about equality and feeling like me and my partner are on the same level. But if you feel superior to your partner, it is going to be a disaster. So here's some science-backed relationship advice that you never will hear anywhere else. Be more selfish. And this violates everything you've learned from Disney movies and love songs, but focusing more on yourself can help your relationship. The key to becoming more selfish is to meet your own needs in a way that doesn't harm your relationship. But no more martyrs.
I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay, meaning our children. Meaning, our children, our friends, our, family.
We need to spend more time focusing on our own needs. Put your oxygen mask on first before trying to save someone else. And putting yourself first starts with refusing to accept less than you deserve. So sacrificing yourself to benefit your partner feels romantic, but it undermines the relationship. Failing to properly nurture yourself has a fatal flaw. Self-sacrifice puts the relationship at risk by increasing the chances of cheating. To really help your relationship, you should feel empowered to be more selfish. that starts with refusing to accept less than you deserve by focusing on finding fulfillment instead of merely being happy. Fulfillment is key. Happiness fades, it comes and goes. It's about feeling fulfilled in your relationship. And couples who are selfish about the relationship by dating each other and expanding together stay together. So in that clip of Tia Mowry talking about her divorce and feeling like she evolved out of her relationship, what might have just been missing is that opportunity to continue expanding herself. She might have felt very stuck and limited in her marriage. So what does expanding together mean? Self-expansion is your personal growth. Expanding together means your partner supporting your growth. So here are the 4 questions to see how much your relationship is helping you to expand your sense of self. And this is very important to a happy and fulfilling relationship. Number 1, how much has knowing your partner made you a better person? Number 2, how much does being with your partner result in you having new experiences? Number 3, how much has being with your partner resulted in you learning new things? And number 4, how much does your partner help to expand your sense of the kind of person you are? So these are the questions you want to ask yourself when you want to see if your relationship is constricting or allowing you to expand and grow as a person. And I'm going to say one last thing here. There's a psychological concept, if you've never heard of it, called the Anima and the animus. And what this basically means is that if you are a male, like you're born a male, you have what's called an anima. And your anima is basically the feminine traits that you have that you repress. So you repress these feminine traits. And if you were born a female, your animus are your masculine traits, and these tend to be repressed masculine traits. Why is this important? This is important because a lot of times in relationships, what we're actually doing is we are projecting our anima or our animus onto another person. So a man who has a lot of repressed feminine traits that he doesn't want to recognize in himself will project his anima onto a woman. And the same goes for a woman. If she has a lot of masculine traits that she rejects in herself, she will project her animus onto a man. The reason why this is important is because a lot of times when we are leaving one relationship, we will end up being with the same type of person over and over and over. And we'll be confused as to why this happens. This happens because you're not seeing the other person for who they really are. You're taking a man or a woman and you are projecting your anima or your animus onto this person. And over time, as this relationship goes on, you start to realize that this person doesn't perfectly match this image of my anima or my animus. Of course, you're not consciously thinking these things. These are things that just happen naturally with human beings, and we don't know this is happening. So before jumping from relationship to relationship, focus on that personal growth. Focus on self-integration. Focus on identifying the traits in yourself that you might have repressed for a really long time. Because when you own your whole self, you stop looking for someone else to complete you. So if you found this information to be helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and thank you.